Item number 4, presentation of the Lincoln Tallman House renovation and implementation of the adopted business plan and authorization to proceed with restoration of the conservatory. Mr. Price, may I ask before you start, I noticed that we all have a revised document on our desk. Would you be so kind to indicate potentially what the revision aspect is of that?
The revision aspect of that document is the inclusion of requests for replacement of the boiler for the Tallman House.
Okay,
Lincoln Tallman
didn't want to
House.
make any assumptions, but I didn't know if it went. Okay, I apologize. Just wanted to make sure. Go ahead.
Great, thank you, Council President. Gale Price, Manager of Building and Development Services. Also here with me tonight is Michael Reuter, Executive Director of the Rock County Historical Society, who will also be helping to present. What we want to do is talk a little bit about where we started, where we are currently at with the Tallman House grounds. You know, most of the council members were not members of the council at the time that we went through the business plan process. So we felt that this time it was appropriate to bring everyone up to speed, give everyone an understanding of what's going on the property, and then certainly an opportunity for Mr. Reuter to talk about the excitement about implementation in the business plan and the good, positive things that are to come from that. Yes, we're all generally familiar with the Tallman House grounds. It includes basically 3 buildings that are owned by the city. You have the Lincoln Tallman House, the Wilson King Stone House, and then the Carriage Barn. And then also, as part of the grounds, as outlined in the business plan, is the Charles Tallman House, and then the Museum Center just to the south of that. So it's a partnership. Part of the property is owned by the city, part of the property is owned by Rock County Historical Society. A little background on the Lincoln Tallman House. It was deeded to the city in 1950 by the Tallman family. It was given to the city to be operated in perpetuity as a museum. So it's intended to be a house museum, basically forever. The city has had a partnership with Rock County Historical Society since the, I believe, 80s to operate that on behalf of the city through a lease arrangement. And you may recall a more recent lease amendment a couple of years ago, and at that time it was extended for 2 years. So there'll be some discussion about a new lease during next year's, probably in the middle of the year or towards the budget season. The city started a process to look at the long-term improvements of the property. Basically, there were a number of years of deferred maintenance, and anytime you have an older house like this, or any older structure, there's going to be dilapidation. There's going to be things that need to be improved over time. That's just the way it goes with any structure. During that time, basically design and funding and identifying and prioritization of those improvements started in 2008. In 2009, during the discussion of note issue for the Tallman House, the council indicated a desire to decrease or eliminate the subsidy that is provided to Rock County Historical Society for operation of the Tallman property. And at that time, it was really felt that there wasn't a strong direction for how this property was being operated. And at that time, an ad hoc committee was created by the city council. It was involved a number of local business leaders and stakeholders and interested parties. And they were really tasked to create a business plan for the Lincoln Tallman House. And really the intent of the business plan is to increase attendance, increase the donor base, renovate the Carriage Barn to expand events and opportunities with those, and then ultimately reduce the city subsidy. You know, one of the things that you think about as the Tallman House, many of us have gone through it when we were children through school, and you think, wow, I've been to the Tallman House, what's going to bring me back? What brings people back to the Tallman House? Because in order to be able to increase that donor base, you've got to increase the exposure. So there needs to be other activities going on. And obviously the carriage barn it was identified as an opportunity to have small-scale events on the property or on the grounds. We see throughout the community that there is a demand for some of these smaller banquet facilities or gathering places for various kind of events or training sessions, things like that. And really the business plan identified that as certainly an opportunity. And there's a number of capital projects that were identified in the business plan. Renovating the Lincoln Tallman House bathrooms, providing an accessible lift. There had been a lift on the outside on the south porch that led to the conservatory, but it wasn't operational. The lift wasn't designed for the outside kind of exposure, and we really needed to be able to bring people into the property regardless of their physical abilities. Again, the carriage barn renovations, improving site signage, renovating the Charles Tallman House, and then additional exterior renovations that have been ongoing. So basically, the business plan intends to promote and increase attendance on the property, but roughly by 10% annually. And then creating new opportunities through public and private uses for the Lincoln Tallman House and for the campus as a whole. Also opportunities for additional education exhibits and programs, which has been ongoing, as there have been a number of exhibits that have taken place within the museum center. Comprehensive marketing package for the Lincoln Tallman House. And really there wasn't a strong marketing of the Lincoln Tallman House, and really partnerships through other organizations within the community are important with that. And then developing a budget that can be maintained and operate the structure. Just some pictures, new bathrooms, the ADA lift. This is actually at the rear of the house, back by the bathrooms, and actually it's quite nice because it's hidden. It doesn't detract from the historic character of the home. The building codes allow us to protect historical integrity of homes like this or any building like this when you have a grand entrance, so we were able to work through that process and bring this lift to the back to make it happen. Some example of where we were at with a lot of the trim work on the house before the renovations. This was pretty rough through here, and obviously I think probably you've all been out to the house since those improvements have taken place. It actually looks beautiful as to how well that's been done. Also included with this was the new roof. The finial's been redone, and the south porch has also been redone. Now, the Charles Tallman House is, again, under the ownership of Rock County Historical Society. But, you know, looking at this as an important part of the campus, it was important for Rock County Historical Society to improve it, and basically it's going to be an informational center, and a lot of the archives are going to be moved into this within another week. The city has just granted occupancy and granted occupancy, and from the improvements here, it's pretty much ready to go. We've also had some private assistance with renovation of the house. As you may recall, Questers has applied for a number of grants over the years to help make incremental improvements to the house. The front doors have been redone, the side doors have been redone through Questers grants, and then also the storm windows. And the storm windows are obviously very important from maintaining the interior of the structure and the heat and the air conditioning, as it's a museum, so it's very important to maintain it at an even temperature for preservation purposes. You know, in 2012, the Rock County Historical Society changed its leadership and hired Michael Reuter, who's now the executive director, and I'm going to turn it over to him at this time.
Thank you, Gale.
Thank you, Gale, and thank you to the council for allowing me the opportunity to speak and update you on where we are at today and all the changes that have occurred over the last 15 or so months since I've arrived. So I recognized very quickly after arriving at the RCHS that the society needed to go into a new direction following obviously the major goals and objectives of the business plan for the campus. The board and I identified a few major goals to try to tackle in 2013. The creating of new events to demonstrate campus reuse. This was not just creating brand new events to increase public awareness, but also a reevaluation and a energization of traditional events like the Tallman Arts Festival, our Historic House Tour, our Oak Hill Cemetery Tour, and our annual meeting. As Gale pointed out, probably the highest priority was to upgrade and augment our marketing assets. As you'll see, our website was very outdated. Our marketing literature, some pieces of our marketing literature needed to be updated and augmented. We needed to market and recruit new rental business for the site to create a new reuse of those sites, specifically the Lincoln Tallman House, but also the Helen Jeffress Wood Museum Center. And then develop new interactive exhibits with community engagement. And given our size of our historical society and our museum, and compare that with the bandwidth of other historic sites and museums of our size in the region, we far exceeded this particular goal. So examples of some success. I'm sure you've heard about us in the paper the last 15 months. We've had a variety of new successful events. Our Lincoln Tallman Father's Day Eve Fun Run Walk 5K, where race participants can, with race admission, they get a Lincoln hat and a beard and a black tailored suit T-shirt. So we encouraged people to run as Lincoln that day. And for a run, we were told, that you can expect maybe 45, 50 people. We exceeded almost 100 runners, which was I think for a first-year run, brand new event for our site. It was very much a success. We're looking to hopefully increase that to 125, 150, maybe even 200 this next year. Our brand new educational initiative, our history camp, was a wonderful partnership between the Janesville School District and the RCHS. We were very much pleased and honored to be able to have the history camp as a summer school curriculum piece this last summer of 2013. And the registration, the history camp specifically allowed approximately 30 students between the ages of the third to fifth grade. And that camp filled out within 2 days of it being offered as a summer school course. So that was very successful. And we're based on, to build on the success of that particular history camp, we're going to be expanding it from a 1-week camp to approximately a 4 to 5 week camp in the summer of 2014. Partnerships outside of just Janesville. We call ourselves the Rock County Historical Society. We should be partnering with other organizations and agencies throughout Rock County to promote the county's history. With that being said, we've had a successful partnership with the Beloit International Film Festival, hosting a variety of events, one more recently for the Janesville Irish Fest called Biff Stew, where we showed a series of Irish films and had entertainment. But more successful earlier this summer when we showcased the movie Lincoln on the lawn of the Lincoln Tallman campus. And Biff was very gracious to share with us their 75-foot inflatable movie screen, and we had approximately 100 people watch this wonderful film on the lawn of the Tallman grounds, and we served concessions. So again, it's just another model of a programmatic model of how the campus can be reused. And then more recently, just this last month in October, we had a series of events called Spirits of Rock County, where we worked with a paranormal group from Rock County to investigate if there was paranormal activity in the Lincoln Tallman House. So again, to kind of add a brand new event and to attract a brand new type of audience to the house and to the site. As I stated earlier, we worked with a freelance designer to augment and create a brand new interactive website that allows people to donate online, to activate and access our brand new digital newsletter, and just to find out more information about the RCHS and the Lincoln Tallman House. New brochures were developed, a rental brochure, a new membership brochure, a general information brochure that we've distributed throughout Janesville and Rock County. And again, as I said, our quarterly newsletter, the FINA, was completely revised and looks more like a professional magazine more than it does a community historical society newsletter, which we're very proud of. And our plans for that particular marketing asset is to continue to evolve it so that it shares in the with our subscribers and our membership. It shares the goings-on of not just the Lincoln Tallman House and the site, but also other historical assets and locations in Rock County, like the Milton House, Beckman Mill, and other sites. And really where I'm very proud, very proud of our accomplishments in the last year was really with our interactive exhibits. Most museums struggle to put one exhibit together, which takes roughly 6 to 12 months to plan, execute, and fund and implement. In 2013, we executed 3. Breadbasket Seed to Spoon, which was an exhibit, a semi-permanent exhibit that's housed in the lower level of the Helen Jeffress Wood Museum Center, was launched in June. We raised over $25,000 of business sponsorships and other in-kind donations and grants to create that exhibit that honors Rock County's food history. It's an interactive exhibit. People can climb on our 1919 Samson tractor and get their picture taken on it. They can interact with a 50-question agricultural history trivia quiz. So that exhibit is very interactive and forward-thinking. More recently, we've had some success with the Janesville Irish Fest. We partnered with that group to put on and release an Irish exhibit, book, and documentary chronicling the success and the trials and triumphs of Janesville's Irish. We just recently reinstalled that in our Helen Jeffress Wood Museum Center, and we also now have the book and the documentary on sale, which adds a new revenue stream for the Historical Society. And then more recently, as you probably just saw in Saturday's paper, we released the 125th anniversary exhibit of Parker Pen called Making Their Mark, which celebrates 125 years of excellence for that particular brand. And we have had over 150 people at the Old Town Mall celebrating that traveling exhibit, which will be showcased at that particular location for the next calendar year. Oops, go back one. So what are the future projects on the horizon for the Society? They're both obviously capital and programmatic. Obviously, the main focus is still continuing to renovate the Lincoln Tallman House, but more of a serious focus is the carriage house, the Tallman Carriage House. Members of our board and our capital campaign committee have really brainstormed and thought about transforming that particular site into a commercial history center of Rock County, where we can celebrate business history in a very interactive way, have some rotational exhibits based on the models that we've created with Breadbasket, Irish in Janesville, and Parker Pen. And obviously its primary function will be a rental and business meeting space for strategic planning, for rental events, weddings, small gatherings, get-togethers. So that project is definitely obviously still on our radar screen. And then future capital projects, with the capital projects that the council approved last year of renovating the front porch, the portico porch, and the carriage porch, the conservatory sits in the middle of both of those newly renovated assets to the Society, or to the Lincoln Tallman House. So it's sensible that the next logical capital improvement will be the restoration of the conservatory. But there are other sites, there are other capital improvements that the Society is looking to fund. The Tallman fence, we're working with some volunteer groups to try to determine the cost and cost benefit of working collaboratively with some retired building associations and retired carpenters and contractors, and looking for some grant funding to fund that. And as Gale alluded to, the boiler unit, the Society has gotten permission from the city to acquire some quotes from local contractors from throughout Rock County and other regions to determine the cost of replacing the boiler, which would be a huge cost savings to the Lincoln Tallman House and the RSHS and its general operations for utilities. And then recreating the interior lighting. This particular capital improvement really has obviously a capital potential, but also more visibly a programmatic potential. Recreating the gasolier effect in the interior of the Tallman House could open it up to a myriad of possibilities for evening rentals, evening tours, evening programming, much more attractive and much more, I think, just much more attractive for that kind of type of programming. And then new goals, like I said, it's not just all about the capital improvements, it's also about creating new programs and revitalizing existing programs. 2014 is going to be primarily focused on revising our core programs, more specifically our Lincoln Tallman tours. Our Lincoln Tallman tour visitation in 2013 stayed about to the 2012 levels of about 3,000 visitors, both school groups, bus tours, and individual and senior citizen tours. But we really, as the business plan states, we really want to up that by 10 to 15% every single year. And so based on other models of success from other historic sites throughout the country, we've come up with the idea of creating new Tallman tours, keeping the existing Tallman tour is obviously a safe bet because people still love to enjoy just the basic histories of the site and the Tallman family. But we're creating a tour perhaps on the technological advancements of the house, talking a little bit more in depth about the architecture, how much money did it cost to build the Tallman house, why did Mr. Tallman build on the site, talking about the advancements for that house when it was built, the gasolier system, the running water system, the sound system, the heating system. So that particular topic you could really you could do an entire tour on. So using the model of interactives and using these existing assets and material culture that we have for the house, it just makes sense to create new tours leading up to our June tourism season to hopefully increase repeat visitation to the site and subsequently increase revenues for that particular core programming. The other three are in the committee stage as far as gathering groups to help us promote and execute and put forth these events. Lincoln on the Lawn would be a living history event that would commemorate the 155th, I believe, anniversary of Lincoln coming to Rock County. It would be a partnership event with elements of Beloit, but also opening the house and the site up to living history interpreters, Lincoln reenactor, having people from the local performing arts groups interpret the Tallman family, and offer a unique ticket price for people to actually go into the house and interact with these personalities that people hear about all the time in our guided tours, but could actually have person-to-person interaction with. So that particular event's got a lot of potential for us. And then, like I said, expanding the history camp from 1 week to 5 weeks to garner more attendance and reach out to more students, and then potentially developing a history of the impact of women in Rock County. That's I think a very important topic to touch on as well as a potential exhibit. And then continued implementation of our marketing plan, continuing our strong partnership with the Convention and Visitors Bureau here in Janesville to increase a lot of our marketing assets, increasing our YouTube channel, getting more into the video element of our marketing. I think this last year we were focusing more on just updating our print and our online assets and even updating our social media assets, but I think getting more videos out there is really important, and also giving our constituents and giving them opportunities to support the organization through